Hello, everybody. I'm so exhausted today. I don't know why. It's like I get towards the end of the week and the week is so busy that I'm like, my brain is tired. I don't know. And then that makes my body tired. So, anyway, another long week, another busy week of work. I can't believe it's Thursday already. But here we are. And I've got a couple of things for you. So at the top of the chat is the list for today's supplies, and I will probably add more to it after today because of all the fun things we're going to be doing. But there's that. And then there's another form there, and it's just a way for me to grab your mailing address so I can mail everybody who is on today's live a card or maybe even a few cards from my stash. So remember last week I said that this was my 10th live stream, and I wanted to be able to, I wanted to do something special. So I wanted to do like a little giveaway or something. So I am going to give away some of my cards, and the easiest way to do that was to just have you guys fill out a quick little form. It's not even really a form. It's like, here's a form worth a blank space for you to put your address. So I just set it up. It's a Google form. Hopefully it works. If there's any problems with it, let me know. And if there are, then we'll maybe just try it again next week when I've had some more time to think about it. Anyway, so that is all set up. So I see that Becca is out here, and maybe Roberta, I don't know, maybe Roberta dropped, maybe Becca dropped, I'm not sure. Roberta, if you're out there, I think I remember you saying something. I think you were the one, your sister or sister-in-law has COVID-19. So still thinking about you and hoping that everything's going okay. If you want to give us a status update, we'd love to hear from you. Okay. The form says you need permission from me. Okay, so let me, I'm going to go over to the form and see what I can do. Unfortunately, I have to like go in front here, so you're going to see my head for a minute. Okay. Oh, derp. I needed to change. There we go. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so the form should be good. And my, hang on a second. Stop that. Oh, okay, there we go. So I was having, again, my computer likes to turn on the streaming when it doesn't have to. And so that makes everything glitchy for you guys. Okay. Miss Tamp, good to see you. Becca, glad you're here. Try the stamp and it should work. Or yes, it should try the form and it should work now. And Roberta, I am so sorry to hear about your loss. So thanks for sharing with us. And we're all thinking of you. Okay, so on a happier note, if you weren't here a minute ago, there is a link at the top for a an all attendee giveaway because today is my 10th episode. So please just fill out the form. Hopefully it'll work. Becca, give it a try again and let us know if it says that you need permission again. Hopefully not. And I'll send you guys some cards, some happy mail. So, and there'll be cards like blank inside so that you can use them or keep them or whatever you want to do with them. Okay. So, all right. So today we are doing Festive Friday preview. So this is, oh, you can't see that from up here. Oh yeah, you can kind of. Okay. I just have to angle it the right way. So Festive Friday, I'm going to put myself down on my hands here. Okay. So, wow. Why is this? It is so bright. I don't know why it doesn't really like to, there's so much reflection off of it. Oh, I know why. Hang on a second, guys. I turned on my lights. I had to turn them up the other day to do photos, and they don't need to be this bright. That's better. It's still kind of bright because there's all this sparkly gel in the middle here. See how awesome that is. But there's a watercolor technique and everything. So last time you guys wanted me to do some backgrounds that I like doing. And so these are backgrounds that are like just up my alley. They're kind of mixed media-ish. So I hope you guys enjoy how that all comes together. So this one is not too messy, but I am going to put out a paper towel. Oh, I need to get my spritzer too. There's all sorts of things that I just didn't bring over today. Guys, long days, long days. Okay. So this comes together pretty quick because it's just a couple little elements and then the background. So the background is the bulk of it. And hey, Sue. And so I just have a piece of watercolor cardstock here. And this is one of my favorite stencils. It's the Altenew Flowing Drops stencil. And I'm going to use the watercolor brush markers. Okay, so I'm just going to grab 3 of them that work well together. So I've got turquoise, I've got lime, and I have fresh lemon. Okay, so this is the cool thing about this one. I'm going to, oh, you know what else? Before I get too far, I need a towel because you know I'm going to make a mess. Alrighty. All right, so we've got people joining. We've got Sue and Susie. Everyone, there is if you scroll up in the live chat to the very top, there's a link to all of my supplies today, and those have affiliate links. So when you use those, I might get a little commission on that at no additional cost to you. So that's how I keep this channel going. So if you decide to shop, I'd love for you to use some of my links. And then also there is another link to a form because today is the 10th episode of Running with Scissors. And I said I wanted to do a little giveaway. Well, I decided I just wanted to do an all attendee giveaway. It was the easiest. So even for you, CC overseas, go ahead and fill out the form to get me your address, and I will send you some of my recent cards that you can use or keep or whatever you want to do with them. So you just need to fill out the form, and that's only going on today during the live stream as a thank you for all of you joining me live. Okay, so we've got Paula and Cece joining us. Okay, so basically what I'm doing is taking the watercolor brush markers in these 3 colors, and I'm just putting them on the stencil. And it looks like I'm getting more on the paper than I am on the stencil, which is fine. And I picked 3 colors that would work well together. So that way when they blend, they're still going to look good, right? Okay. So see, I have all that color now on there, and you can see I have lots of color down there. If this was like archival, I would probably use it. Okay, so I'm going to spray it pretty generously so I get lots of little bubbles of color. All right, and I am going to maybe try to use that. So then I've got my watercolor paper, and I'm just going to put this right down on it. A lot of times I'll do a piece of paper that's like 6 by 6 so that it fills the whole space. But this time I just have a piece that's cut to the right size. All right, so that is on there. And while that's there, I could lift this up and dry it and the whole 9 yards and everything, but I like to kind of do a 2-for-1. So while this is on here, I'm going to use this creative medium by Imagine Crafts. And this is the Shimmer. So it's clear, but it has ridiculous shimmer in it. So you can see it's kind of looks like it's gray when it's wet. Like this. The watercolor paper I'm using is just a Strathmore 140-pound cold press, like whatever you would get at Michael's. It's not the expensive stuff or anything like that. It takes a nice amount of water, so that's why I like to use it, especially for this kind of technique. Okay, so I'm putting the creative medium over the top of this, and I'm not worried about getting it everywhere. If I miss a spot or whatever, it doesn't really matter. All right, and then see some of it's green. I'm not going to put it back in here because it got contaminated. Okay, so I'm done with the creative medium. And now I can pull this off and show you guys the magic. Ta-da! So I have, and this actually turned out super light, which is a surprise. So I have the creative medium and then I have the watercolor all in one. So the one that I did for my sample is much darker. And actually I prefer that. So I just didn't get enough watercolor on here, or I diluted it too much, one of the two. Either way, it's going to look good. This is just going to be lighter in color. See all that in there? So this needs some time to dry. So I'm going to set that aside. And this needs to be washed off right away because the creative medium that's on here will stick on here. Actually, there's old creative medium on here from before. Oh, Sue, yeah, absolutely. I'm going to keep doing these videos. So I'd doing these videos happen. It just so happened that I started them during the stay-at-home orders, but it was just coincidental. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing them every Thursday as long as I have fresh ideas and people show up. Why is it? Oh, there we go. Okay, so just making sure, probably remind you guys a couple of times so that you go out and do it. There is a form. If you scroll up to the top of the live chat, see, somebody just joined. If there's a form, if you just joined, go up to the top of the live chat and there's a link to a form. And that's just so that I can get your address. Today's my 10th episode and I'm doing a little giveaway, an all attendee giveaway. So if you are attending right now, I will send you a card or two, depending on how many I get and how many cards I have to send. I have a lot of cards to send, so you might get 2 or 3, who knows. What's my time? It's 4:15 here. So I work from home. I work for myself. So it's easy for me to make time for this. Okay, so this is going to take a few minutes to dry for sure. Okay, cool. Thanks, Sue. I'm glad the form worked. Okay, good. So I've got just a little bit of color in this one, but it's going to look awesome. So there's that. And then I pulled out this fun stamp set from Altenew. They do more than just flowers, people. This one is called Way Too Sweet, and it's adorable. And there are dies. I think I'll probably use the dies this time. I fussy cut these out for my project. Teresa, if you scroll all the way up to the top of the live chat, there's a link to the form there. I was going to put it in the description, but I ran out of time. And I only wanted it for people that joined during today's live stream. I said, thank you for being here live. So I have someone to talk to. So bonus for being here. Okay, so I'm going to watercolor these guys. And instead of using black VersaFine Clair, I normally use Nocturne for that. I'm going to use a pink color. So this is Charming Pink. It is a fun, bright pink color. And so, yeah, if you didn't know, VersaFine and VersaFine Clair come in a whole bunch of colors. So it's not just black. And they all stamp just like the blacks do. They have excellent coverage properties, and they're great for watercoloring. And they're so cute. Look at how cute that is. All right. So I came downstairs like an hour and a half ahead of time today because I knew I needed to get some things prepped. And the time just flew by. I wasn't quite sure what happened with that. So I'm not like 100% prepared. I need to go grab a few things like a water brush and a palette. Okay. So I'm going to use purple wine because it matches pretty good with this. And yeah, Sue totally wouldn't have thought of this as an Altenew set, but it is, and it's just so darn cute. Okay, so just some simple watercoloring on these guys. And I really like how this purple wine actually matches this VersaFine. The VersaFine color is Charming Pink, if I didn't say already. So cute. So this is kind of like almost like a no-line watercoloring, right? Because I'm ending up with the pink color on the outline instead of a black. So, and I'm just going to do kind of a loose shadow here. I don't mind that I'm going to get that line. I'm okay with that for this. And then, oh, I did have an orange. I'm going to use Sunkissed for the other one. And on this one, I'm just trying to, on the bottom at least, I'm trying to stay away from the pink so that way it doesn't change colors. Because actually when I put this orange over it, it is going to change the color of the ink line. And it is going to get kind of orangey, dark orange. See, super simple on those. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is paper bag. And this is the cool thing. So you know how like with no line watercoloring, when you go over it with the when you go over it with your watercolor, a lot of times you'll see the line from the stamped line. Well, the same thing happens here, but this brown is such a great color that it's just going to kind of seep into the purpley pink, and it's just going to turn it into a darker brown. So that worked out really well. Because I didn't necessarily want to have like pink and brown in the handle. I just wanted it to be all brown. Actually, you know what? I don't even think I watered it down when I did that. I think I can just use the brush. Yeah, that'll work. There. So totally quick and simple on those. And I think I'm going to fussy cut them instead of die cutting them because I didn't bring over my little die cutter, my little mini blossom. And these are so easy to cut that it's no big deal. Yeah, so this is like creamsicle with cherry on top, and then this one is like cherry or strawberry, whatever you want to call it. Either way. So on these, I'm not going to leave a white outline. I'm going to just go right up against the edge. All right. Susie, what links are you looking for? The product links? Product links are already posted in the description. And there is also a link at the very top of the chat with a link to like all of the products as well. The giveaway for the cards is only during this live session. Ooh, pink lemonade. I like that even better, Roberta. I'm not a cherry. I don't like cherry flavored anything. So not even like real cherries I'm not really crazy about. So pink lemonade, now that's my jam. And I'd be more apt to call this like a creamsicle with strawberry. Or a creamsicle with like pink lemonade. That would be yummy too. That would be awesome. All right, so I got my two little guys here. So adorable. Let's see where we're at with drying here. I don't think this is dry yet. No, it is still very much wet. So let me go get my heat gun. I've been thinking about getting one of those Ranger ones that are more like the blow dryer, but I don't know if I really need that or not. So I do a pretty good job with just my regular heat gun. This was this Sizzix one has two settings on it. It's got a high and a low. And that makes a big difference because I can do this at the low setting and then this won't bubble up. So this ends up looking super pretty in person because it's got like a nice shimmer to it. But it's not overpowering. And when it dries clear. Yeah, Teresa, that's what I was thinking. I don't think I need it. I can spend that money on something else. So while we're waiting for this to dry, did you guys work on any fun craft projects this week? If you did, share with me. I want to know what you made. Almost. Yeah, we'll call that good. We'll call that good. Yeah, as long as I can touch it, that's good. All right, so that needs to actually, I wasn't going to cut a card base for this, but I think now I will. Just because it ends up being a little warpy. So Susie made some simple cards this week. Awesome. Right. Any other fun projects out there? Did anyone add to their craft stash this week? Did you buy anything? Or are you eyeballing something that you're excited about? Tim Holtz came out with a new distress color. It's called Speckled Egg. Did you get it? Yeah, I did, Teresa. Oh, she bought the bundle. She went for the full Monty on the Speckled Egg. I have not gotten it yet. I don't have the full set of Distress Oxides yet either. I think there's one set that I'm missing. So maybe I'll pick up that set plus the new Speckled Egg. So the bleach technique, like when you have like bleach on the side and you use that to stamp with. I don't know, to be honest with you, I don't know that I ever have done that before. All right, so Prairie Stork, that's Becca. You created some slimline birthday cards, or you're thinking about it, or I'm guessing you made them. And then Cece, oh, you got the 24 pan set. Ah, yes. And Teresa, you got some of the washi tape. Altenew, I'm guessing. Okay, so when I stamped this, I did it in pink, but I didn't think that it was quite punchy enough, so I just ended up doing it in black. Awesome, Paula. I hope you enjoy watercoloring. Oh my goodness. Of course, if you ever have questions, don't hesitate. You can always reach out. Okay, so I'm just going to do like a little, I didn't put anything behind this guy. And then on this one, I'm pop it up. Oh, cool. Yeah, so Becca, you were busy with cards. Awesome. So that would be it if this was on here straight. There we go. So this really doesn't translate like over the video because it's catching so much of the lights. If I can but it's all shimmery and shiny. It's very, very cool. And that's it. So really the biggest thing was doing the background. And here's the original that's got more. This one's got darker spots in it. So I like them both. They have a different feel to them because one has all of the watercolor in here is nice and dark and detailed. You have like all those little water spots and things, whereas this one is much softer. So, you know what? I don't know why. Why is this so... Oh, guys. I had an extra light on that I didn't need. Okay, so let me readjust my lighting again. That was totally wrong. Ta-da! I had my overhead light on, which I don't need for video. I only use that for photography. Okay, so now you can see that totally better. You see how that catches the light? But yeah, see, I like the way that all this worked out. And then this is the softer one we just did. So very cool. So that's simple. Wow, I had that one done quick. All right. Bleach with heat embossing. I'm really going to have to pull out some bleach and give it a try. And then maybe I can give some tips and tricks on bleaching. And Becca, I tell you what, I want to buy all the things, but I have to keep telling myself no. Okay, so what I used was the Creative Medium, and it's kind of hard to find. You can find it, I think, on Amazon. You can get it definitely from Imagine Crafts, and they're open again. They are up in Washington State, and they are now open. And that's what that was. This is the sparkly stuff on here, CC, is this. It's Creative Medium. It's basically just an embossing paste or a, you know, any kind of whatever pasty kind of stuff. And it dries clear, but it is like just completely shimmer, like 100% shimmer. So you can get it from imaginecrafts.com. And I think you can find it online on Amazon as well. Love that stuff. Cool. So wait, I missed something about someone in the Gemini. Roberta, you're going to get the Gemini? Oh, awesome. You're waiting on a Gemini Junior. That's so awesome. I love my Gemini Junior. I'm so glad that I got it. I don't know why I waited so long to get one. I got a Big Shot Plus about a year ago, thinking that I would really like it. And I ended up just only using my regular plates with it. I never used the extra large plates with it because I've not gotten into like the extra large dies. And I decided that the Gemini Junior is just so much better. Oh, okay, Susie. I'll have to check out Gina's video and see what she did. All right, so that was that. That was Festive Friday. You will see that card tomorrow out on my blog and Instagram. So last time we talked about backgrounds, and I wanted to share some backgrounds. Well, the request was, hey, do backgrounds that you like doing. So we're going to do some backgrounds that I like doing, and I'm going to share with you some of the coolest backgrounds that I have created recently. Okay, so I have paper towels, and I don't need any more of this stuff. I'll keep this out just in case. Don't need the Minka Stella. Good there. So I'm going to move a few things out of the way. Let me grab a few things. Okay, that's good. And so I don't even know where to start, guys. These are all so much fun. Okay, well, let's start with these. So, oops, and here's a sample. Need to grab what I need for that. Okay, so I really have fallen in love with alcohol ink backgrounds. And I don't actually have like the specific alcohol inks that you're supposed to use for backgrounds, right? I only have my re-inkers. So I have my Altenew re-inkers, and I have one or two Copic re-inkers, the various inks, but not very many. So let me grab just one piece of paper here. So I wanted to show you guys. So this one I did for the latest Paint a Flower release with Altenew. This is the Anemone. And I did the background on that because they just came out with new re-inkers for the D and E sets. So I loved the background on this. So I'm going to show you guys a couple different ways you can do it. So here's a sample of that. And I also did one on mirror cardstock. So I might pull out a piece of mirror cardstock. So there's a couple of things that you can use for backgrounds. You can use vellum. And that's what I did for this card sample here. So this is on vellum. The one thing that you do have to watch out for is that it does dry completely eventually, but when it's fresh, see, sometimes it comes off. Or maybe this was just a different vellum. I'm not sure. For some reason, it wanted to come off on this one, but I didn't have a problem with this one. So maybe this was a different vellum. Your results may vary. And then, so that's one thing you can use. Of course, the metallic paper worked really well. I love how that turned out on there. That got kind of funky, this one. And then, of course, you're probably familiar with Tim Holtz and Yupo. Now, Yupo is not Tim's and it's not Ranger's. Yupo, I believe, is made by this company here, Legion. And you can find bigger pads of Yupo. So this pad is a 9 by 12 inch pad of Yupo for much cheaper than you can get the single sheets. So I think it ends up being almost, depending on where you get it, sometimes half the price, which is crazy. Either that or I was looking at two different listings, like because the Tim Holtz comes in 5 by 7, also comes in 8 by 11 or 8.5 by 11. So, but anyway, you can get it in white. You can get it in translucent. And basically Yupo is a plastic paper. So there's no paper pulp in here. There's no wood pulp in here. And so this works really well with the alcohol inks because they don't dry very fast and they move. So that's why a lot of people use Yupo for alcohol ink projects. And then you can also get it in extra thick. So, yeah. And this actually from the Legion is thicker than the Yupo from Tim Holtz. Okay. So let's start. Oh, so the one thing that I do have that's actually designed is these new alloys from Tim Holtz. And these are additives that you put in to give a metallic look. So I'll show you how those work too. Okay, so this is a piece of vellum. Now the disadvantage to vellum is that when it gets wet, eventually it's going to curl. Okay, so other things that I use are alcohol. This is just isopropyl alcohol. I have it both in a spray and in the dropper. And those work really well. And then I've got this is something that Ranger is now selling, but you can find these online, just a little air blower. Because when you move the ink, you're not really supposed to inhale the fumes. It's not really good for you. So this is better. Okay, so I always start with the lightest colors. And and this is not the lightest color. I don't think this is Volcano Lake. I picked up some of the darker ones. All right, but see, it just starts to drip and move, and then I can use my little air tool here to move it around some more. And you can do simple. You can do just simple one color if you want, because it's going to get lighter as it moves away. And to reinvigorate it as I go, I'm just spritzing it with the alcohol. You can use the colorless blender solution, but it's really expensive, so you may as well just use the rubbing alcohol or the isopropyl. Okay, so and always pick colors that are going to look good together, like the greens and the blues. Of course, these are going to look awesome together. So like the drop background is always, this is kind of a starter thing, like to do a background like this is the most basic way to get started. And you just drop the ink and you go. All right. And then you can decide if you like it or not, and you can keep adding in whatever colors you want. The dark colors definitely can take over very quickly though. There, I want to get some really cool sprays. There. So see, because it's vellum, it's going to curl. But I would just set that aside to dry. And then you can just glue it down. So I like to, if you didn't watch my video on this, when I use vellum, what I normally do is I take a piece of double-sided adhesive sheets and I put it on the back and then I adhere it to cardstock. So that's like this one. This is the vellum. And then I put a double-sided adhesive sheet on it. And then I put white cardstock on the back. So it's like a complete package. And that helps it to be a little bit more straight and usable. Okay. So totally fun to do. Okay. So that's on vellum. I'm going to set this aside. I like it. I'm going to pick out some different colors. Let's do blue. Okay, so let's do blue and purple. And so both of these work the same, the Yupo white and the Yupo transparent. So let's try it on the white. The only difference is that when you're done with the transparent, it's still kind of see-through. So if you put it on black cardstock or something like that, it's going to show through. So having the Yupo white is kind of nice because it's definitely not see-through. Okay, so let's do something totally different. Let's do a different technique on this and do stripes. Or maybe even drips. We could do drips. So I'm going to start with soft lilac. And I'm just going to hold this up and just strip it across. Oh, so cool. All right, and already, like if I flip this over, that looks like, you know, the beginnings of like a forest scene or something like that. All right, and then I have lavender fields. Cool, Susie. I hope you do give it a try and you have some really fun results. So I might go back like that. And then this is Caribbean sky, so I'm going to incorporate a blue. And then a darker blue. This is sapphire. Oh, that's pretty cool. So then I can and then on this one, how about we add some metallic to it? Let's see, this is Mind, so it's copper. Yes, this is Sapphire and Caribbean Sky. I can't remember which group that's from. I'd have to look on my list. But yeah, these are all of their artist markers are from their ink pad colors, so they definitely have it. Okay, so with the alloys, you only want to, I mean, it comes with a little teeny tiny nozzle. There you go. And you just need like not even a drop. Okay, so I could leave it like that because it actually looks really cool. But let's spritz this a little bit. So if you wait until this is dry and then spray it with the alcohol and just do like once, then what happens is you get this really cool effect where it starts to look kind of marbled. If you start using your air though, you're going to move it and then it's going to all blend together again. Okay, so I want to move these metal bits around a little bit. So these are the kind of projects that I love because I could just sit here and play around with adding color all day and doing such neat things with them. So the alloys are kind of stuck, probably because they were on something that was quite dry at the time. So, but these are in wet spots, so I can move those around. There we go. So when they move, they turn into these little pieces. There you go, little flecks. Doesn't that look awesome? So cool. And as it's drying, you're getting all these different layers that are leaving different little patterns along the way. This one is really cool, guys. So I love this because you can just sit around and make a whole bunch of different backgrounds and then chop them up later and turn them into cards. So it's kind of fun. Oh, well, Sue, I happen to have foil, so let's see what happens. Let's see. So I have some of this gold foil, like from the heat transfer foil. I'm guessing that's what you're talking about. It's it is working. Yeah, Sue. Oh yeah, I understand. You got to let it get a little tacky. Yeah, so this was a little tacky down here. Okay, so this is what Sue said. And look. So now I have gold on here too. That's awesome. So it's just going to grab on the parts that where the ink is still tacky. It's still kind of like super wet up here. You can heat this. Just again, use your low heat setting. And move it around a lot. Okay, so let's see what other tacky spots I'll pick up. Not too many left. That's okay. Actually, it's kind of working. If I scratch it with my fingernail, it's sticking. That's crazy. Cool. See, I used my fingernail on that and it actually stuck. Yeah, you gave me a tip. See, we're always learning. So cool. Okay, so this one, totally, I would cut that panel up and use that for something awesome. Sue, I might just make this into a card for you. Okay, so if you wanted to add more to this or whatever, that's the cool thing about Yupo too, is that you can spritz it down again and it'll like reinvigorating. It'll reinvigorate and you can add more to it. So Yupo, alcohol inks, all sorts of things. Oh, so one other thing you can do with this too, I feel like this stencil is calling my name on this one, is that you can then stencil over it. So again, like if you wanted to add some glimmer or whatever, you could use the creative medium and you would still see the color through it. Or you can do all sorts of other things. So like you can use the embossing paste from Altenew or modeling paste. This modeling paste from Liquitex is ends up with a little bit more of a hard texture. This ends up a little bit more like a foamy texture. And then there's some other creative media. So this is clear without the sparkle in it from Imagine Crafts. And then this is their metallic gold from Imagine Crafts as well. So let's put, let's try something. Let's try something on here. Grab my knife that fell before. And of course you can mix colors in any of these too. So if I wanted to, I could mix some color into my creative medium, you know, on a little palette separately. I don't know what I did. I don't know what I did with my watercolor palette. That's okay. I'll just use this. So if I take some of this, the sparkly creative medium, and then let's say, yeah, I guess I could just do, let's try the lavender. Mixes in there pretty well. So now I have like a sparkly lavender color. That's pretty awesome. So this is like really like mixed media fun. So this is going to dry now as like a translucent purple. I love this stencil. This is from a Colorful Life Designs. This stencil is called 50 Shades, and it's gorgeous. Okay, so this is even better. So now you can see that it's got this cool purple pattern on here, which is amazing. This is so awesome. I'll have to snap a picture of this and put it up on Instagram so you guys can see it like in all of its colorful glory. I mean, I think you're getting a pretty good snapshot of it here, but this is just spectacular. I love it now with the, I mean, I liked it before, but I love it even better now with the stencil on there. All right. Yes. So I'll set this one aside. All right. And then I need to wash these off right away. Otherwise it'll stick. All right. Okay, so let's do something not alcohol. Love these backgrounds. So, you know, I love anything that I can use a stencil with, or now you know that I really like alcohol ink backgrounds. Well, I told you guys last week that I was doing that thing for Hedgehog Hollow. And that was last weekend, the Hedgehog Hollow days. And it went really well. Everyone had a great time. So now I can show you what I did for that. So that actually requires me to bring the splat box into the picture and gloves. So now we're going to get messy. Well, actually here, let me pull the splat box out of the picture for a minute so I can show you the samples. All right. So this requires glossy photo paper or super glossy coated paper of any kind. And you guys are going to love this. I know you are. Okay. So these are the cards that I did for them. This one, well, using this technique, I did a couple other cards, but these use the technique that I'm going to show you guys. So this one is awesome. It's got all this gold in it and then these pinks and purples. And then this is actually the kissed sheet that I did from it. And then I added in a stencil and then an Altenew stamp. Okay. And then I made up some, oh, hang on a second. I made up some other samples using some of the colors that were provided to me by One Paper Place. If you're in Illinois, I think she is. She has a local store, but she also ships nationwide. So onepaperplace.com. And these were from a brand called iZinc or Aladdin. And this is what they look like. Okay. So she's one of the very few places in the United States that carries these. And they're made in France, and it's from a company called Aladdin. So for those of you who are overseas, I'm thinking of you, Cece, you might be able to find these a little more easily than we can. These are water-based dye inks. So I'm going to show you how to do them with some other brands that are more readily available in the US, because you're going to get the same results. It's all because it's photo paper. So if you have any glossy photo paper laying around that you don't know what you are going to use it for this, because these things are awesome. Okay, so these two samples I use Distress Oxides and Distress Ink, or Distress Spray Stain on, and they turned out awesome as well. Okay, so Linda is just joining us, and that kind of reminds me, if there's anyone else out there that joined late that didn't hear, I am giving away my cards to people who are attending today. So scroll all the way back up to the top and find the link for the Google form and just send an address, and I will send you some of my cards as a thank you for being a part of my first 10 live streams. This technique gets messy, and these spray stains stain. So, okay, so the first ones I'm going to do. So this actually kind of made me decide that I need to get more sprays, because I have a lot of the Distress Oxide sprays, but I don't have a lot of other sprays. So this kind of made me decide that I need to get some more. So these are the sprays that I had from Imagine. I have a blue too, but these will work well together. So these are the fireworks sprays from Imagine Crafts, and they all have shimmer in them. So Linda, you have to go all the way back up to the top, all the way up to the top. And hopefully it will let you scroll all the way back up to the top of the live chat. So anyway, it's water-based. And that's, I think, the important part of this. So that way it actually flows on this paper really well. Okay, so I got my paper here, and I put a piece of paper toweling underneath it because this is going to get really wet. Okay, so this is Lilac Posies. And apparently my little, there we go. I'm going to spray that all over. And I'm actually even going to use like my fingers to get it on there. All right. And then I've got Tangelo. And you know what? I'm trying to remember. Okay, so the paper that I'm using right now is not actually photo paper. It's just glossy paper, so we might not end up with the same result. We'll find out. If not, I'll pull in some actual photo paper. Okay, so then this is Tangelo. And then I can get that to swirl around a little bit. Yeah, I think this is going to work okay. All right, and then if I want to add some extra shimmer to it, this is just the shimmer spray, which is just a plain old shimmer. So that's just going to look kind of white to you guys. Okay, so I've got all of this down on here. See, look at all that yummy awesomeness. And it's just dripping, which is fine. And then I'm going to take a second piece and I'm going to kiss them together. In there. So this is the piece that I kissed down with, the plain piece. And see, it just grabbed some of it, not all of it. So there's more white on this one. And then there's that one. Okay, Linda won't let you go to the top. Okay. You know, Linda, I don't know if Yupo would work it the same as photo paper, because the photo paper does a certain level of absorbing. So, and this paper even that I'm using right now is different than photo paper. So it really kind of melts it into it. But I still got kind of the same results. So see how I have those really nice lines and interesting patterns and things. And then it's got an all over shimmer to it because everything that I just sprayed it with has a shimmer to it. And then this one will have shimmer, but it's got some nice white spots in there too. Okay, so I'm going to set these aside. And I'm going to try, actually, Okay, give me a second because I've got someone else joining. Let me see what I have saved in my... Okay, so I'm reposting the forms link there. So that is the forms link. If you want to get some free cards from me today, yay, 10 episodes, 10 weeks, holy moly. I'll use this again. I'll do the second. Stop streaming. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. My computer, it likes to start something that it's not supposed to. Anyway, okay, so let's do, someone wanted to know about the Altenew sprays. So, okay, so I've got Cosmic Berry, Puffy Heart, and Antique Gold. How about that? Actually, you know what? I have a different Antique Gold that's open already. Okay, so we know that our Imagine Crafts fireworks sprays will work. Okay, so we will start with Puffy Heart since that's the lighter color. Now these also have metallic in them. All right. And the reason I'm kind of spreading this around is just to start to get it to seep into the photo paper. All right, and then I'm going to do Cosmic Berry on this one. Come on. I know there's a little ball in there somewhere. Maybe not. This is like brand new. Come on. There we go. So I noticed that Puffy Heart, it tends to be like more red until it dries. So we'll see what that looks like when it dries, but I'm going to add some gold on top of it. All right, and then I'll grab another piece of paper. Ooh. That turned out kind of cool. Actually, you can see my hand in it. Those are my fingers. That's cool. So I think you're going to get varying results depending on what kind of paper you use. So this was not a super high gloss. This was like a medium satin gloss. And I'm getting different textures and things, which is really kind of cool. All right. And then, of course, whatever sprays you use, you're going to get something different as well. Whew. All right. So these really need to dry because they're super wet. All right. So yes, you can do this with Altenew sprays if you have them. All right. And then I also have some Tim Holtz sprays. Ooh. So I have, I pulled out crushed olive, pine needles, peacock feathers. Now this is spray stain and this is the oxide sprays. And the reason why I'm doing both of these because the spray stain, you know, it doesn't have the oxidation part to it, right? So it does something different to the paper. I'm not saying that right. It doesn't stay white, you know, so it doesn't get that white oxidized look to it. So it makes it look different. Okay, so I'm going to start with the crushed alum. You'll see. So you see how when I'm spraying that down, all of a sudden I start getting these little grayish spots. That's because it's the chalky effect, right? So then I can put that. That is the pine needles. And then peacock feathers. But the peacock feathers doesn't have the chalky effect to it. So it's going to stay dark, which is really what I'm looking for. So you get kind of a mix of both. You get both the chalky and the non-chalky effects. I guess that's what I was trying to say. So this is really pretty. And then I have the brush pewter spray stain. And because there's no other metallic in here, that's what's really going to add any kind of metallic effect to the project. All right, so I'm going to kind of just leave it like that. Then I'm going to take my second piece. Oh, don't stick together. So there's one. And there's the other. So this one ends up having a lot more of the chalky effect in it. And then this one ends up having less. They're both super cool. Okay. Yay. All right, so how about dry some of these off? All right. So Teresa, did you end up going to the Hedgehog Hollow thing, or did you give it to your friend? Because right, I think you were the one that said that you were going to do or that you got the Hedgehog Hollow days for your friend. Because if you gave it to your friend, then you just basically saw what I did for for at least half of my projects, which was really great. Okay, so I'm going to dry these. I'm going to set them on the low setting again for drying. And even though this is like a water-based medium, I found that these dried really quick. And another thing I found is that they dry really flat too. So it doesn't like to buckle up, which is kind of a super nice thing. That's really pretty. Linda, so yeah, it's glossy photo paper. And actually the paper that I'm using right now is a satin finish instead of glossy. And it works just as well. I would definitely use photo paper versus just a glossy coated plain paper because it just seems to work better. Whatever chemical they have on the paper helps a lot. So I'll show you the difference between the glossy and this satin finish after I get this dry here. Come on. Thanks for joining, Heidi. Okay, almost dry. Okay. So, see, now I won't need these because it is totally dry. Okay. So look, completely dry. And the nice thing about it is it's flat. I was really impressed at how the photo paper dries, even if you're using your heat tool, how it dries so well and so flat. But look at that. It's just so cool. So this was the distress oxides, remember? So you can see some of the oxidation in here, but then there's places where there isn't oxidation because that kind of sits on the top. But on this bottom one, this was the one I was actually spraying on. Look at all the oxidation that stayed on this one. Isn't that neat? I mean, they're just two totally different looks, but they're just from smushing together. So, so cool. So again, you could do a total, let me see, what kind of stencil do I want? Let's do this one, the mod circles. You could spray again on top of these if you wanted to actually just like spray the pattern, of course, or you can add the modeling paste. And then get a really cool result. Or you could die cut it like I did in the sample. I think this is going to be cool because this white is really going to help break up some of these muted colors on here. Yeah, that looks really cool. Oh, yeah, absolutely, Teresa. I used to work for HP, so not in the printer division though. But yeah, that's where all of my printer paper right now, all of my photo paper is all this old HP paper that I've not used. So yeah, see, so now you guys have a great way to use up all your old photo paper. So especially because we know now that it works with satin finish and it works with, of course, the gloss. So these were the samples that I did for that class. No, this is going to dry. Okay, so this is going to be the interesting thing about this one. It is starting to suck up some of the color. So with the Altenew embossing paste, I noticed that it's starting to suck up on some of the color. And so it's going to turn kind of like a greenish bluish finish. But if I use something more like this Liquitex modeling paste, it stayed more white. But it's something that you're going to totally be able to see, which is cool. And you can feel it. Like there's just so much texture going on in this card between the gold from the spray and then the shiny from the super glossy photo paper and then the texture from the modeling paste. Like it's a tactile party. It's so cool. And then I heat emboss the sentiment on here. So there's all sorts of craziness going on with that. So this is another thing you can do with it. You can cut these out with your dies. So if you have words that you want to cut out with them or a background that you want to cut out or even like a debossing one where it's just going to leave the pattern in there. So many cool things that you can do with these little pieces, right? Let me show you again. So then just as a reminder, these are the samples Oh, come here. Of the super glossy. So this is what this is the same basic color scheme, except I did it on glossy. So, I mean, you could get lost in that. Look at all that depth and detail. Isn't that amazing? So cool. This one I think is one of my favorites. So the one thing about the super glossy paper is that I noticed that the coating, if you heat it too fast, it will crack a little bit. So you just want to make sure that you're using a low setting, or you let it air dry, or you're moving your heat gun a lot. So that way it doesn't try to bubble up and crack. But these were the opposites. So this is the one I sprayed on, and this is the one I smushed. Yes, these especially. I thought this one is like looking from space down on Earth, doesn't it? Absolutely. Absolutely. And then these are like the pink ones like I did for these here. So you can kind of see how that whole thing worked out. Super cool, guys, right? So now you know some of my favorite background techniques. Okay, so I just want to show you one thing again. So can you see how green this is turning, how white I mean, it was this white to start with, but this is really picking up the green from the paint underneath. So that's how it's going to dry, is kind of like a greenish color. If I had used this, it would have stayed white. Oh, let me see what this one looks like now that it's dry. Okay, so yeah, so these dots still aren't dry on this, but I really do like that a lot too. All right, guys, so we played a ton with fun color backgrounds today, and I hope you had a good time doing it. And you've got all sorts of great ideas for the weekend for projects. See, I mess with my lights, and now everything's messed up. Hey, you can see me. So yeah, now you've got all sorts of great ideas and things that you can experiment with over the weekend, and just add it to your toolkit and have some fun with ink and paper, right? So I'm going to pop it in here one last time. If you didn't fill out the form, fill out the form now. There we go. If you didn't do it, fill out the form so that way you can get some cards from me. And because that's only going on for those of you during this. And I'm going to go ahead and turn off the form after this. So that way it's just for the people that watched live. So thank you for joining me. If you're joining this on the replay, maybe next time, or catch me on a live every Thursday at 4 p.m. Central. So thank you guys so much for joining me. Thanks for making the first 10 episodes a ton of fun. I've so enjoyed having all of you out here, and I'm glad that you choose to spend some of your time during the week with me. So thank you for stopping by, and have a great and crafty weekend. And I will see you right back here next week. And guess what? I have so many backgrounds now and lots of things in my scrap bin that we'll definitely be doing some more scrap exploration next time, and doing some projects with scraps. So, because I got a lot. Anyway, so bring your scraps to the table next time, and we will have some fun making projects with scraps. So I will see you next Thursday, and have a great weekend, everyone.